Every trader dreams of becoming a millionaire. But here's the brutal truth. Almost all of them fail. Not because they don't know strategies, not because they can't read charts, and not even because the market is too tough. They fail for one hidden reason, a rule so powerful, so invisible, that it silently decides whether you'll stay stuck losing or break through into the 1% that actually win. You've seen this rule before. In fact, you felt it every single time you clicked buy or sell. But like most traders, you probably ignored it, laughed at it, or thought it was too simple to matter. And that's exactly why the market keeps punishing you. This rule doesn't care about your intelligence, your experience, or your account size. You can have the best system, the fastest internet, the most expensive courses, and still lose everything, just because you broke it once. But if you follow it with relentless discipline, the market starts to reward you quietly, slowly, and consistently, until one day you wake up and realize you've crossed the line between the 99% who fail and the 1% who become millionaires. Most traders will never discover this truth. They'll keep chasing signals, indicators, secret formulas, while this one rule stares them in the face every single day. And the irony? It was never hidden by the market. It was hidden by their own mind. So today, I'm going to reveal what that rule really is, how it separates losers from millionaires, and how you can apply it before your next trade. But before you hear it, you need to face the raw, unfiltered truth of why most traders fail. Because until you understand that pain, you'll never value the rule that could change your life. Most traders don't like hearing this, but the market doesn't care about your hopes, your dreams, or your hard work. The market is a mirror. It reflects discipline for the disciplined and destruction for the careless. Here's the reality. More than 90% of traders lose money. That's not a random statistic. That's the harsh truth that repeats itself generation after generation. And if you've ever blown an account, if you've ever stared at your screen watching red numbers pile up, you already know this truth deep in your bones. But let me ask you something. Why does this keep happening? Why do so many intelligent, hardworking people keep losing in trading? It's not because they're dumb. It's not because they don't try. It's because they all fall into the same trap. The trap looks different for everyone. For some, it's greed. They see one winning trade, and suddenly they want to double down, triple down, and turn $100 into $10,000 overnight. One click too many, and the account is gone. For others, it's fear. They hesitate. They doubt themselves. The setup is perfect, the rulebook is clear, but they freeze. They exit too early, or worse, they never enter at all. And when they watch the trade go exactly the way they predicted, they feel the burn of regret, a regret that kills their confidence trade after trade. And then there are the impulsive traders, the ones who say, I'll just take this quick scalp. I'll bend my rules just once. But once becomes twice. Twice becomes habit. And before long, their trading plan is just a dusty file on the desktop, while their real trading is pure emotion. And emotion is the fastest way to financial destruction. The painful truth? The market punishes all of them equally. Greedy trader, fearful trader, impulsive trader. The market has no favorites. But here's where it gets even darker. Most traders don't even realize they're the problem. They blame the broker. They blame the strategy. They blame the market. Some even think the market is rigged against them. And while they're busy blaming everything else, they never stop to ask the only question that matters. What am I ignoring? Because the truth is, there's only one rule that decides whether you'll survive or crash. And while losers keep skipping it, millionaires quietly build empires with it. Let me give you a picture. Imagine two traders side by side. Both start with the same capital. Both trade the same chart. Both see the same signals. But at the end of the year, one has tripled his account, and the other has blown up 3 accounts in a row. What separated them? Not knowledge, not strategy, not luck, just one invisible line, the rule. And here's the worst part. You already know this truth inside you. Every time you've broken your own plan, every time you've chased the market, every time you've risked too much, the rule was right there, screaming at you. But you didn't listen. That's why 90% lose. This is the harsh truth of trading. It's not the market killing you. It's not the strategy failing you. It's your inability to follow the rule that millionaires never break. Now, listen closely, because in the next part, I'll start peeling back the psychology that makes this rule so difficult to follow. Once you understand that, you'll finally see why so many fail and why select few break free into the 1%. When you step into trading, you don't realize what game you're actually playing. Most beginners think it's about charts, indicators, or secret strategies, but deep inside, the real battle is something no one warns you about. It's not on your screen, it's inside your own head. And this is why 95% of people fail, while the top 5% keep winning over and over again. There's one rule, just one, that separates millionaire traders from everyone else. And the funny part? It has nothing to do with the market. It has everything to do with you. Think about it. You sit in front of your screen, ready to trade. Your heart beats faster, your palms sweat. You zoom into every candle like it's hiding a secret. You wait for the right moment. But when it comes, fear whispers, what if it fails? So you hesitate, you miss the move, and then, as if mocking you, the market goes exactly where you knew it would. You slam the desk, angry at yourself, thinking you'll catch the next one. And then the next setup appears, but this time greed speaks louder. Don't miss out. Go all in. This is the one. You click buy, your chest fills with hope, and within minutes your account bleeds red. You stare at the screen in disbelief, asking the same question millions before you have asked. Why is this happening to me? Here's the truth. It's not happening to you. It's happening because of you. Every losing trader has the same disease. They think trading is about predicting the market. Millionaires know the rule is different. They don't predict. They react. They don't fight the market. They fight themselves. Picture a man with a small account. Let's say he starts with $500. He's not smarter than you, not faster, not luckier. The only thing he has is discipline. While you jump in and out of trades, chasing every candle like a gambler, he waits. Hours go by, sometimes days, and he doesn't touch a single trade. You think he's wasting time, but in his patience, he's building power. When a market finally gives a setup that matches his plan, he takes it without hesitation. No fear, no greed, no second-guessing. Just execution. And because he follows this one rule, discipline over impulse, his small account grows. Slowly at first, then faster. And before you realize it, he's one of those names you admire, one of those traders you think must have some secret strategy. But the only secret he had was control over himself. Most traders can't do this. They're addicted to action, not results. They need to feel alive by clicking buttons, even when their edge is nowhere to be found. They trade boredom. They trade loneliness. They trade emotions, but they don't trade the market. Millionaires are the opposite. They've learned to sit with boredom, to fight through fear, to detach from money. For them, a loss isn't personal. It's just part of the game. But for you, every loss feels like a wound to your ego. That's why the market keeps taking from you. It knows your weakness better than you do. You have to understand, the market doesn't reward intelligence. It rewards discipline. That's the rule, the one rule. And until you master it, you'll always feel stuck, no matter how many books you read or indicators you buy. Because at the end of the day, your biggest enemy isn't the bank, the hedge fund, or the algorithm. It's the face staring back at you in the mirror. Now, imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and decide that from this moment forward, you will play by the rule. No more revenge trades. No more gambling. No more chasing. You will only execute when your edge is present. And if it's not, you will sit still like a sniper in the shadows. At first, it feels impossible. Your body itches to trade. Your mind screams to click buy or sell. But you hold back. You resist. And with every moment you resist, you're building strength. Slowly, the market stops controlling you. You start controlling yourself. And this is the shift where everything changes. You no longer need the thrill of a winning trade to feel alive. You no longer panic when you see a losing candle. You've built a system, and you trust it more than you trust your emotions. Now, every trade you take isn't about money. It's about following your rule. And because you keep following it, the money starts coming in naturally. This is why millionaire traders don't celebrate wins or cry over losses. They celebrate discipline, because discipline is the only thing that compounds forever. Most people watching this will nod their heads, maybe feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go back to doing the same thing. Over-trading, over-leveraging, self-sabotaging. But a few of you, maybe just one, will actually understand what I'm saying. And that one person, the one who decides right now to build discipline like a muscle, will change their entire future. Not because of some holy grail strategy, but because they learned the one rule that matters. So let me ask you, when you look at your trades, your account, your habits, are you following the market, or are you following yourself? Are you gambling with impulses, or are you training like a professional? Because the market isn't testing your strategy, it's testing your character. And only those who master themselves are rewarded. And this is the rule that separates millionaire traders from everyone else. Not money, not luck, not connections, just discipline. Imagine a market as a battlefield where billions of dollars move back and forth every single day. Most who step onto this battlefield are not prepared. They arrive with dreams of wealth, but those dreams are fragile because they're built on impulse, on emotion, on shortcuts. And then there are the few, the ones who seem to rise above the chaos, the ones who quietly build fortunes while the majority struggles. What separates them? It isn't luck. It isn't secret information. It isn't even intelligence. It's something far more invisible, far more boring on the surface, but deadly powerful when applied. It is the hidden rule that most traders ignore: consistency with discipline. Picture two traders. Both start their day with the same chart, the same data, the same tools. The first one has a plan written down: risk per trade, entry criteria, exit strategy. The second one also thought about making a plan, but when the market opens, emotion takes over. Prices move faster than expected, adrenaline kicks in, fear mixes with greed, and suddenly the plan is out the window. One follows rules religiously. The other bends rules under pressure. At first, it doesn't look like a big difference. One small deviation here, one impulsive click there. But over weeks and months, that small difference turns into a gulf so wide that one is building wealth while the other is burning account after account. This is the brutal reality. The market does not forgive lapses in discipline. You can have the best strategy in the world, the most accurate analysis, but if you can't stick to your rules consistently, you will lose. Millionaire traders know this so deeply, it's almost part of their DNA. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't rationalize breaking rules. To them, rules are law. Their discipline is their edge. And because they repeat it every single day without compromise, results compound. Think about it like this. A losing trader often wins a few trades and feels invincible. They get overconfident, they size too big, they ignore stops, and eventually the market humbles them. A disciplined trader might also win, but they don't let excitement distort their behavior. They size exactly the same as before, they stick to their stop loss like a soldier guarding a gate, and they exit when the plan says exit, even if they think the trade might go further. Consistency beats excitement. Patience beats adrenaline. Rules beat emotions. That is how wealth is built. Here's what makes this hidden rule so difficult. It goes against human nature. Humans are emotional creatures. We crave excitement. We crave shortcuts. We want to avoid pain and chase pleasure. The market exploits this. It lures traders into breaking discipline with sudden moves, with fake signals, with adrenaline rushes. Most people take the bait. Millionaires refuse. They feel the same emotions as everyone else, but they don't obey them. They obey their rules. That's why they win. Ask yourself, how many times have you known exactly what you should do in a trade, but you didn't do it? You knew you should wait for confirmation, but you jumped early. You knew you should take a small loss, but you held on, hoping it would turn around. You knew you should not revenge trade, but anger pushed you back in. The rule was there, clear and simple, but discipline cracked under pressure. Every losing trader has lived this. The difference is that millionaire traders have trained themselves never to repeat it. They make discipline automatic. Think of discipline like a muscle. At first, it's weak. Following rules feels hard. Resisting temptation feels painful. But the more you practice, the stronger it gets. Millionaires are not born disciplined. They build it. They practice following rules in small things until it becomes natural. Over time, they hardwire discipline into their routine so deeply that breaking rules feels unnatural, almost wrong. This is why they can repeat the same behaviors for years while others burn out. Now imagine the compounding effect of that. One trader follows their rules every single day for a year. Their results stack, their confidence grows, their account expands. Another trader breaks rules half the time. They take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. A year later, the disciplined trader looks like a genius, while the undisciplined trader looks like a fool. But it wasn't genius that created the gap. It was consistency with discipline. This is the part most people never see. They see the millionaire trader's car, their house, their freedom, and they assume there's some secret formula behind it. They don't see the hundreds of days where that trader sat in front of the screen and followed the same boring routine without deviation. They don't see the temptation they resisted, the trades they didn't take, the losses they accepted without breaking. That invisible discipline is the real engine behind their wealth. Here's the paradox. The hidden rule is simple, but living it is the hardest part of trading. Anyone can write a rule, if you can live by it. Millionaires aren't special because they found something others don't know. They're special because they do what others can't stick to. Their consistency makes them rare. Their discipline makes them wealthy. And their ability to repeat it day after day makes them unstoppable. So the next time you ask yourself why your trading isn't working, stop looking for new indicators or new gurus. Ask yourself, did I follow my rules today? Not yesterday, not last week, today. Did I execute with consistency? Did I stay disciplined when pressure came? Because that, and that alone, is the hidden rule that separates millionaire traders from everyone else. When you hear the phrase millionaire trader, your mind probably jumps straight to luxury cars, private jets, and mansions on the beach. But that's not the real story. Behind every millionaire trader is a hidden thread that most people never see. It isn't luck. It isn't some secret stock tip whispered in the dark. It's something far more simple, yet far more powerful. The truth is this. Every millionaire trader who lasted long enough to grow small accounts into fortunes followed one rule: consistency with discipline. And their stories prove it again and again. Let me take you back. Imagine a young trader starting with only a few $1,000s, barely enough to feel like a real player in the markets. He doesn't have fancy tools. He doesn't have a hedge fund backing him. What he does have is discipline. Every single morning, he treats his tiny account like it's $1 billion fund. He risks small, he logs his trades, he studies his mistakes, and he refuses to gamble just to feel the thrill. Day after day, his account grows, not in huge leaps, but in small, steady steps. Years later, that account crosses 6 figures, then 7, and by the time the world notices, he's already built a fortune. That's the power of consistency. Take Jesse Livermore, for example, one of the most legendary traders in history. He didn't come from wealth. As a boy, he ran away from home with nothing more than $5 in his pocket. He started making tiny trades, writing down patterns he noticed in stock prices. While others were gambling, he was building a method, testing his ideas with patience. By sticking to his rules, he turned that tiny beginning into millions during the early 1900s, a time when money itself was worth more than it is today. And even though Livermore later faced downfalls when he broke his own rules, his greatest wealth was built on discipline, not luck. His story is both inspiration and warning. The moment you stop respecting discipline, the market takes everything back. Or think about Richard Dennis, a trader who started with only a few $100s. Most people would laugh at the idea of turning that into millions. But Dennis had one obsession: rules. He believed so deeply in the power of consistent rules that he started the famous Turtle Traders experiment. He taught a group of complete beginners his rule-based system, and many of them went on to make fortunes themselves. What does that tell you? That success wasn't about talent or background. It wasn't about genius IQ or being born rich. It was about discipline applied over and over like a craftsman shaping wood with steady hands. Then there's Paul Tudor Jones. He didn't build his billions by chasing every shiny setup or throwing caution to the wind. In fact, he's famous for saying, "Don't focus on making money. Focus on protecting what you have." His rule? Never risk too much. Always live to fight another day. That consistency in risk management is exactly why he survived when so many others were wiped out. In 1987, when markets crashed and traders lost everything overnight, Paul Tudor Jones made hundreds of millions. Why? Because while others broke their rules under pressure, he held his ground. These stories carry a pattern. Millionaire traders look ordinary at first. They start small, they make mistakes, they feel the same fear and greed as everyone else. But the difference is this: they don't break when the pressure comes. They don't gamble when they're down. They don't get reckless when they're up. They live and breathe the same rule every day, as if their future depends on it, because it does. Now let's bring this closer to home. Imagine you sitting at your desk with a small account, maybe $500, maybe $2,000, maybe $10,000. To you, it feels like peanuts compared to the big players on Wall Street. You watch them throw millions around, and you feel small, powerless. But here's the hidden truth. The market doesn't care how big your account is. It only cares about your behavior. If you gamble, you lose. If you stay consistent, you grow. That same $500 can become $50,000 over time. That $10,000 can become $1 million. Not overnight, not with one lucky trade, but with thousands of disciplined decisions stacked on top of each other. Think of it like planting seeds. A reckless trader digs up the soil every day, looking for fast results, and in the process kills the plant. A disciplined trader waters the soil consistently, day after day, even when nothing seems to be happening. Months later, the tree begins to grow, and eventually, it bears fruit beyond imagination. The millionaire traders you admire didn't just trade. They planted, they watered, they waited, and they trusted the process. There's another story you need to hear. Ed Seykota, one of the pioneers of computerized trading. He turned a $5,000 account into over $15 million. How? Not by chasing news headlines or panicking during market swings. He had strict rules coded into his system, and he followed them with religious discipline. His famous quote still echoes across trading communities. Everybody gets what they want from the markets. And what did he mean by that? If you want excitement, the market will give you losses. If you want consistency, the market will eventually reward you with growth. Seykota wanted consistency, so he got wealth. What can a retail trader learn from all this? The lesson is simple but uncomfortable. Millionaire traders aren't superhumans. They don't have magic powers. They just have the patience to follow rules when everyone else is losing their heads. That's the dividing line. You don't need a hedge fund. You don't need to sit in front of 12 monitors. You don't need to predict the future. What you need is the ability to wake up tomorrow and follow your plan exactly as you did yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. The stories of millionaire traders all point back to one unshakable truth. Discipline is wealth. The moment you betray your rules, you're no different from the crowd of losers chasing quick wins and blowing up accounts. But the moment you stand firm, you step into the rare circle of those who build fortunes. And maybe right now, as you're listening, your account feels small, your progress feels slow, and your discipline feels tested every single day. But remember this: Jesse Livermore once had only $5. Richard Dennis once had only a few hundred. Paul Tudor Jones once had to scrape together capital like everyone else. What separated them from the crowd wasn't money. It was the decision to treat the game seriously every single day. Your story is being written too. The question is, will it be another story of someone who blew up chasing shortcuts? Or will it be the next story of a small trader who turned a tiny account into a fortune? Not through luck, but through the one rule that never fails: consistency with discipline. Most traders think the market is about chasing opportunities, finding the hot stock, or catching the perfect entry. But here's the truth. Millionaires aren't made because they discover a magic entry. They're made because they follow a hidden rhythm, a step-by-step discipline that never bends, no matter how tempting the trade looks. You see, the market is a mirror. It reflects your discipline, your emotions, your planning. If you show up with chaos, it will return chaos. If you show up with rules, it will eventually reward you. Now imagine this. Two traders staring at the same chart. The price is moving fast, emotions are running high. One of them is sweating, clicking the buy button without thinking, because fear of missing out is eating him alive. The other one? Calm, unshaken. He waits, checks his plan, measures his risk, and only then presses the button. Same chart, same opportunity, but their results will be worlds apart. Why? Because one is guided by impulse, and the other is guided by rules. The real rule that separates millionaire traders from the rest is not about predicting the market. It's about protecting themselves from themselves. Risk management is their shield. They never risk more than they can afford to lose. A millionaire trader knows that every trade is just one of 1,000 in the journey. If they lose today, it doesn't matter. What matters is survival, consistency, and compounding. On the other hand, losing traders bet big because they dream of getting rich overnight. But markets punish greed. You might win once, but sooner or later, without discipline, the house takes it all back. Let's break it down further. Millionaire traders think in percentages, not dollars. They don't say, I'm risking $5,000. They say, I'm risking 1%. That one habit keeps them alive during storms. Think of position sizing like a seatbelt in a car. You don't wear it because you plan a crash. You wear it because one day, the unexpected will happen. Traders who ignore position sizing might feel safe while the ride is smooth, but when a crash comes, they're thrown out of the game completely. Discipline in trading isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's the quiet force that separates winners from the endless parade of failed accounts. It's emotional control that prevents a trader from hitting buy or sell at the wrong time, when fear or greed is screaming louder than logic. Make no mistake, markets don't move traders. Emotions move traders. Fear of missing out, fear of loss, greed, revenge trading. These are silent assassins of trading accounts. Millionaire traders have felt them all. They aren't superhuman. They've simply mastered the pause, the breath, the ability to follow a plan, even when every instinct screams otherwise. That's why they endure, while others burn out in weeks. And here's a tool almost nobody talks about: journaling. Writing. After every trade, they note down what they did, why they did it, how they felt, and what the result was. It's simple, mundane even, but it's the mirror that exposes your truth. Without a journal, mistakes repeat endlessly. With a journal, patterns emerge. Mistakes become lessons. Lessons become improvements. Improvements turn into consistent profits. This quiet work compounds quietly, invisibly, until it creates mastery. Millionaire traders don't trust memory. They trust data. Their journal is the compass that guides them through the storm. Break a rule? The journal doesn't lie. Follow the plan, but lose money? The journal proves the loss was part of the process. Here's the shift in mindset. Losers see losses as failure. Millionaires see them as tuition. They pay the market to teach them discipline, and they do it gladly. But the single most crucial piece is having a system and following it without exception. Without a system, trading is disguised gambling. A system tells them when to enter, when to exit, how much to risk, and when to step back completely. Millionaire traders don't wake up feeling the market. They follow the plan, just like a pilot uses a pre-flight checklist. Imagine boarding a plane when the pilot says, "I don't have a flight plan, I'm winging it." You wouldn't. Yet most traders walk into the market daily without a plan, hoping luck will hold them up. That's why they fail. Discipline feels boring in the moment. Breaking rules feels exciting. But boring consistency compounds into extraordinary results. Millionaire traders embrace boredom because trading isn't entertainment, it's a business. Thrill-seeking destroys accounts. Rule-following builds them. Here's the hidden path: Protect your capital with risk management. Size positions so you survive storms. Control emotions so they don't control you. Journal every trade. Build a system and treat it like law. Repeat this not for a week or a month, but daily, weekly, monthly for years. That's how small accounts grow. That's how ordinary traders become extraordinary. That's discipline in action. And yet, it's so simple most fail. Why? Because following rules is hard. The market tempts you every day to break them. Discipline is slow in a world obsessed with instant gratification. But that's why the rule works. Few follow it, so those who do rise above the crowd. Picture yourself in front of the screen. Charts open, heart racing. Every candle feels like it decides your future. Winning small, losing big, chasing setups, doubting yourself. You wonder, why can't I trade like the calm, consistent millionaire traders? The truth, every great trader once stood exactly where you are. Frustrated, overwhelmed, ready to quit. The difference? They didn't quit. They transformed. Not overnight, not with some magic indicator, but by walking a path that turns reckless gamblers into disciplined professionals. And if you commit, this path will carry you from losing trader to consistent trader to millionaire mindset. Picture yourself in front of the screen. Charts open, heart racing. Every candle feels like it decides your future. Winning small, losing big, chasing setups, doubting yourself. You wonder, why can't I trade like the calm, consistent millionaire traders? The truth, every great trader once stood exactly where you are. Frustrated, overwhelmed, ready to quit. The difference? They didn't quit. They transformed. Not overnight, not with some magic indicator, but by walking a path that turns reckless gamblers into disciplined professionals. And if you commit, this path will carry you from losing trader to consistent trader to millionaire mindset. It begins with a harsh truth. Losing isn't the market's fault. It's yours. The market doesn't know you exist. Every blown account, every revenge trade, every sleepless night stems from your decisions. Harsh? Yes. Liberating? Absolutely. If you are the problem, you can't be the solution. Phase 1 is brutal. Admit you have no control. Think rehab. The addicted gambler whispers, one more trade. Recover the loss. Prove you're right. Listen to that voice, and you're finished. Millionaire traders heard the same voice. They killed it. They replaced it with a system. Step by step, structure emerged. Risk management wasn't optional. It was survival. Imagine locking your account so you can't lose more than 1% a day. That's consistency. You protect not just money. You protect your mind. Small risk shrinks fear. Shrinking fear grows clarity. Suddenly, you're not panicking over candles. You're a hunter, patient, unshaken, waiting for the perfect setup. Phase 2, consistency. Most traders fail here because it's boring. Winning traders aren't chasing adrenaline. They chase repetition. Take the same high-quality trade over and over, 6 months, same setup, same rules, same risk. No shortcuts. That's how the muscle of discipline is built. Consistency is like the gym. Day 1, nothing changes. Month 1, small gains. A year later, people barely recognize you. Account barely grows at first. But months later, no blown accounts, protected capital, confidence built. Separate yourself from the 90% who can't stick to anything. Phase 3, transformation into a millionaire mindset. Millionaire traders don't react emotionally. Losing days? No drama. Winning trades? No celebration. They think in probabilities. Decades. They treat trading like a business. 2 traders. One wins $500, feels like a king. Loses $700, feels destroyed. Gambler. Another wins $500, loses $700, barely reacts. System over emotion. Trading for 10 years, not a single day. That's the mindset difference. Transformation isn't linear. Relapses happen. Rules break. Emotions spike. That's normal. Transformation isn't perfection. It's correction. Each fall is feedback. Each mistake a lesson. Each setback an evolution. Start practically. Draw a line in the sand. Today, no more gambling. No excuses. Set daily max loss. Define your one setup. Commit to journaling. Not for a week, until it becomes identity. Building a bridge. Each risk-managed trade. Each journal entry. Each day following rules. Another brick. Day by day, the bridge grows. One day, you realize it's strong enough to carry you across. That's transformation. On the other side, it's not about money. The account grows, yes, but identity shifts. You see yourself as a professional, a risk manager, a disciplined decision-maker. That's the real prize. Once that identity is yours, the market can never control you again. The path from losing trader to millionaire mindset is quiet, patient. Thousands of small, disciplined choices stacked until life transforms. Can you walk it? Yes, but only if you commit fully. No, I'll try. Choose transformation or destruction. The market rewards discipline and punishes weakness. Every trade moves you closer to chaos or mastery. The truth, the path waits for you. Past mistakes, irrelevant. Blown accounts, irrelevant. All that matters is what you do next. Stay a gambler or become a trader who writes destiny with patience, discipline, and courage. Secrets? Strategies? Hidden indicators? Not needed. It's about who you become. Choose discipline today, and the market will recognize your worth tomorrow. One rule. That's it. Not 10 strategies. Not 50 hacks. Just one. Consistency with discipline. That rule builds accounts while others burn theirs. That rule transforms chaos into clarity. Every story, example, lesson boils down to this. Long-term winners don't guess right occasionally. They don't chase thrill. They show up day after day, protect capital like oxygen, journal their trades, learn from mistakes, and build habits that compound like profits. Maybe you've been the emotional, impulsive trader, chasing losses, quitting plans, seeking instant thrills. That story ends now. Every consistent trader you admire stood exactly where you are, confused, emotional, bleeding accounts. They broke free by one rule. Imagine choosing discipline today. 12 months from now, your account tells the story, not of luck, but of mastery. Because trading isn't about the market. The market doesn't know your dreams. The real battle is within. Win that, and you can win everything. So will you? Draw the line. Choose discipline. Apply this one rule like your life depends on it, because in trading, it does. Be consistent. Be disciplined. Transform. Become extraordinary. And one day, you'll look back and know this was the turning point, the day everything changed.